Hey everybody, it's a Mad Master here. I'm doing another video today because we went to the baseball game. My work signed up for this baseball game and I was bored to tears to some extent, except for, well, I had a few views that were pretty good, if you know what I mean. Ooh, anyways, I'm not gonna go into that. So went to a baseball game, so we got out early from work ostensibly. So I'm doing some videos today, and I just decided to impromptu to do some videos. So this one is kind of I noticed the success of my misanthropy video, and I thought I'd do kind of a follow-up on that because I really am looking at the subject quite a bit lately and really thinking about it. And I see friends that suffer from their misanthropy and their doom scrolling, doomsaying kind of things. And for one, I identify it in various ways. So there's the Christian that believes the end of the world is coming soon. People are flawed and evil and selfish, even though, ironically, by focusing so much on themselves, they're kind of being selfish themselves by saying this. Just putting that out there. I mean, if they volunteer and do a lot of shit for other people, that's fine. I'm not criticizing, but they're focused on themselves. If that makes any sense. There's that, and then there's the whole like environmentalist, like the methane burp's going to happen any day, we're all going to die kind of people too, or the world's not going to be habitable in 5 years or whatever they said 20 years ago or 30 years ago, you know. And I'm not saying the environment, there's not, you know, there's definitely some things going on. I mean, you can look at the heat waves and stuff. So, and I do believe in it to some extent. And I haven't studied the subject, so I'm more agnostic about that than some of the other subjects. I have to clear the thing because of the battery. So I can't say exactly what I think about all that stuff. I think there are elites that are trying to use it to make money and stuff off, you know, Whitney Webb talks about this too. So this is kind of the whole thing. And I think it's something that is so flawed within people that they have to go to that type of thinking because they hate themselves. They hate themselves so much. And they hate other people along with that. And I've been guilty of this myself, so I'm not exempting myself. Today was an interesting day because I was sitting alone by myself at the baseball game, and then I went over by a coworker and sat and joked with some people. And I was going against my type that I am at work, at least, you know. You know, you hear me talking about approaching women and stuff, but I'm not like that at work at all, you know. So, or I'm not like that outside. I'm not like that outside of work enough, anyways. So, you know, this whole thing, this positivity, you know, positive thinking, instead of focusing on negativity, negative thoughts, doom and gloom. And I'm not talking about like doom metal, you know. You can listen to Candlemass or Cathedral or whoever, Paradise Lost I particularly like. You can listen to that stuff, and you can listen to metal that's dark and stuff or gloomy. But when it becomes a lifestyle to have this like ideology that the only way you're going to be happy is through some salvation of whatever, or alternately like the world's going to end, so everybody has to follow what you believe no matter what, you know. And they're evil. People that don't follow exactly what you believe are evil. Or, you know, that's another example. That's like the left wing kind of thing. I mean, it's the right wing thing to say. Well, the right wing would be more a Christian thing with that, and then the left wing would be more of like a materialist, like, oh my God, the religious nuts, you know, we got to stop them. And I mean, I agree with that to some extent. But, you know, it's like this misanthropic hatred of the normal people that are around you and everybody else, and this selfish, insular kind of awareness of self-absorption and thinking only about yourself and your life and your, you know, framing upon that. So this misanthropic thing, and this like the song End Times that I wrote for Pathless Land, my whatever you want to call it, project, I talk about this. Actually, it's actually about a person I know, because to me it's like, he views Jesus, he's miserable, depressed. So Jesus is his salvation, but there's a separation from Jesus, right? if you're really happy from religion, you wouldn't be depressed. Okay, I'm just gonna fucking lay it out on the line, you know. You wouldn't be that depressed. Now, people talk about like me being in, sometimes me being in, they've said things in the past, me being in some self-help, some when I really get into self-help stuff and new age stuff, and like, oh, you don't need those books. Someone told me, just throw them away. They're not helping you. But actually they do, because when I actually focus on that stuff, my life does get better. You know, I can talk about specific eras of my life where I was, corny as it sounds, listening to a lot of Tony Robbins and shit, and like following along with all the programs and stuff, and my life got fucking phenomenal. You know, that wasn't meant to be any kind of alt-right thing, by the way. Roman salute. But I don't know why I thought that. But yeah, I mean, you can't really, it's just like it's like there's something separating this person from Jesus. And then Trump is the Antichrist too, right? Trump is the Antichrist. So just got shot. So we're gonna have to ramp up these thoughts, these negative thoughts. And oh my God, my life is miserable. Well, maybe you should take a look at yourself outside of a religious lens, outside of this, like, and you know, that's where materialism, honestly, you know, atheism materialism can help. I see it as serving things, because, you know, like chaos magic talks about different things, and NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, talks about different things serving you, different beliefs, having different beliefs, adopting them, like putting on a mask, hopefully not a coof mask, because those are annoying, but putting on a mask and taking it off. You know, it's like, why not adopt this ideology? Your hopelessness, it's not helping you. See, if you're a Christian and you're unhappy, maybe that's why, okay, maybe that sounds like the self-help thing, but like I said, I explained that. So you have this Christian thing that makes you believe in something more and believe that you can be happy, but you're never there. Isn't it supposed to be, I used to watch the 700 Club, and people are like, I found Jesus. Oh, it's happy. I'm happy all the time now, you know, the word in, you know, all these testimonials. So, and I know it's bullshit because it's the 700 Club, and I'm not going to fucking go into the politics and the history of all that kind of televangelist kind of shit. But, you know, it's like you're missing the forest for the trees by being in that state of mind and still believing in some of this stuff in the way that you do. Maybe you have to approach belief from a different angle. Maybe that's what you have to do. And maybe some of these people, and that's what I mean by this kind of misanthropy, like coming out in this religious angle. Like, oh my God, we're all these evil sinners, and Trump is the leader of them. He's the Antichrist. The end times are coming, you know? I mean, the end times, you want the end times because you want to be right. You want to be justified. Just like during Koof, I wanted to be right. I was so right, self-righteous. I was like, oh man, the CBDC is coming any day. You know, the number of the beast. You know, I was into some of this stuff, and maybe not the number of the beast. I mean, the album's great, but you know, maybe not literally the number of the beast, but like some of these ideas, you know, that were cooked up. And I still am opposed to some of these things. I don't like CBDCs or eat the bugs, live in a pod kind of ideas. You know, I don't like that stuff. What's that guy's name? With some of those WEF people, you know, that write books. Forgot the guy's name, but you know, not Yarvin. That's a Curtis Yarvin guy. That's on the other side of craziness, actually. To be honest with you. But anyways, so this, you know, where was I? This misanthropic kind of ideology, and environmentalists have it too. I have a friend, you know, the methane burp, and you know, like I said, it's just like he believed in this stuff, and he thinks the Earth's, you know, gonna die, and it's just like, first of all, it's a lot of self-help talks about how does that help you by focusing on the negative instead of focusing on what's going right, you know, what's going right. And I didn't understand this concept at first until I started thinking that maybe focusing on what's going right will have you do better things. You know, I can't explain this anecdotal kind of idea that I have about this, but I think sometimes having positive thoughts and maybe not ignoring the negative, you know, but basically, you know, what am I going to do about it? Oh, we're doing something about it. So I'm going to be happy with my life and happy about myself. Oh, things have improved. You know, people have become more aware about this or that, you know. So the doom and gloom thing, tied in with the misanthropy and self-hatred is fucking toxic. You know, and I'm trying to let go of that stuff myself, because it's downplayed, it's down my life. You know, it's like my friend that I still consider him my friend, even though we don't talk a lot. But my friend that complains about every friend of his being mentally ill, and then he's crazy too, and it's like always complaining about his girlfriend, something wasn't right. You know, it's funny, because I have one of my best friends also who commented on his love life to me privately. He said, yeah, he'll like see some like weird mole on their face and wanting to stop dating him. Other people on the outside see this guy as being this like unsatisfied, picky person towards everybody, especially like with relationships. And something's wrong with you. You don't want to look at yourself if you have that much failure. And it doesn't mean, I mean, if he was a player and then he doesn't want to be a player, I mean, if you don't want to be with one woman, be a fucking player and just say, yeah, I'm a player, you know. And I have friends that are more like that, you know. And at least they're honest and they're intellectually consistent, unlike this person has been in the past. And I'm talking about 4 or 5 years ago. You know, I haven't talked to him in a long time, like in depth, so I don't know what he thinks now, but I'm just giving an example of a lot of the ways that these things can manifest. So I think it's stupid. Misanthropy in, you know, I love goth rock, I love metal, extreme metal, horror movies, comic books, fucking video games, you know, like a lot of dark shit, books, you know, dark poetry, you know, the occult, shit like that. But when you make the hatred of humans your focus in life, when you don't connect with people, or what am I trying to say? You try to connect with people in this way where it's like it's standoffish and it's you against the world. You know, I had a relative who was right. I should have been more social. I couldn't be social as a kid, but I'm just saying he was partially right. He was half right that being more social would have been helped. That's why I say I wish I was a smoker when I was growing up, you know, because I would have been more social. I could have died too, but anyways, I could die from other things too, unfortunately. But anyways, you know, that is really what I have to say about this misanthropic call. You know, in the lyrics of the song, misanthropic reason, a fallen world for you to hate. You know, accentuate your inner weakness. Is death the objective of your faith? Sounds like a Dream Theater lyric from like the early 2000s. It's kind of pretentious and silly, but you know, it's kind of true, because it's like you're standing on this pulpit, but you're really below the pulpit. You're afraid, fucking terrified, and you can't realize that you just have to let go of this shit for a while, you know. And I'm saying that about myself too. You know, I believed in World War III's in 2 years and all this shit. You know, Gordon White is talking about it. You know, these occult people, or Martin Armstrong and what's her name? You know, all these people that are talking about. I mean, Whitney Webb talks about some of that stuff, but not to that extent, or James Corbett. But like, all these people are talking. Catherine Austin Fitz, like the Trump. You know, it's like the New World Order and Alex Jones, and they're going to try to do this, and they're going to try to do that, and it's like, what is that? How does that serve me? What can I do in my life to be aligned with something better? You know, reality transurfing, which I'm going to read again because I didn't read the whole thing. I only read like probably a tenth of that book. I was starting to read it. It's kind of hard to read. It's a book. It's kind of a new age book. They talk about going on different timelines and shit, you know. 4 years ago, I was into some crazy shit because the coup fucking flipped me out because I was nuts about that. And then I had just broken up with my girlfriends too. So I was going crazy. So that stuff really helped me. I'm probably going to just jump onto that shit really hardcore now. But I think it can help people. I think by trying to separate yourself from these things and just trying to be an observer. I mean, why do you have to think that you have to play this? It's just stupid. And you know, I get the religious aspect is really toxic in this particular situation, because if you separated yourself from some of this stuff and say, I watched a video the other day about the 7 traits of the coming Antichrist, right? And I can just break down this whole thing really easily. Now, one, like Trump, like for just like with Trump, like, is he globally minded? Like, does he want to like unite the world? I guess, like, I mean, I guess we'll see, but I mean, he's been very much a nationalist and more of a isolationist, which actually I think would serve America pretty well at this point in time. I'm not saying that Trump's ideas in that would. I'm just saying the general idea of that would serve America very well. So I don't see that vision of the Antichrist. He's so obsessed and so focused on Trump. It's like Trump's arrangement system, but like a religious weirdo fucking version of it. And it's like, dude, all right, I'm afraid of World War III and shit, but you are focused way too much on one person involved with this, and you are way too focused on this idea that could be totally false, and it's destroying your life, and it's destroyed my life being, this kind of, and I used to be the same way. I believed in Nostradamus and shit, and it was like, that's the irony is like, I used to view things a lot of the same way as this guy, because like, he's like me, and like when I was like, well, it sounds bad, but like when I was maybe 14 and like believed in Nostradamus, and I was a Christian, and had to throw away Merciful Fate CDs and stuff, and fucking, because I was going to be possessed by Satan and all this stuff. I probably may have been a little worse off than him, actually, because he plays role playing that was all these demonic shit in the game. So I probably was worse off, but I believed all this shit, even though I loved metal too. I wouldn't listen to death metal because it was too satanic, but I listened to grindcore bands because they were like political, and that wasn't as bad. So, and black metal scared me too. I think I had the infamous Kerrang with the black metal, the crimes and stuff, which, fuck, if I would have held on to that, or maybe I don't remember. I think I had it, because I remember in French class, I was talking to this kid about black metal, and then I had the Sam Hain Initium tape. He's like, well, if you're talking about black metal, that's blood metal, because they have blood all over. So I know that I had that fucking issue of Kerrang at one point. I remember reading it. So anyways, that's a whole other off-the-chart subject. So yeah, this is Misanthropy, and I realize that's part of like the darker, like satanic like thing, or black metal, this, I hate humanity, I'm so dark and edgy. And it's like, well, there's a time and place for that, okay? It's fun. It's fun to play that character. You can almost think of it as like character acting. Like, sometimes you like have this catharsis, this release by playing that kind of character, but not all the time. Not 24 hours a day. Like Alice Cooper plays a character. King Diamond definitely plays a character, no matter what he says or people say. He's definitely kind of, he has some normie tastes, like NASCAR and shit. He's definitely more of a down-to-earth guy than, people might think. But, that doesn't matter. I would love to hang out with them and stuff. But like, I don't think you have to be this dark, like what I called one of my best friends, dark, brooding motherfucker all the time, So this misanthropy, I just want to stamp out this kind of misanthropy that people have. And I've attracted a lot of it into my life. I've attracted friends that are, oh, I hate people, I'm gonna sit alone, let's get away from those normies. It just gets old, man. This age, it's like, fuck, yeah, I see all these people, like at this event, it's like, all these people, there's some chicks, there was a chick there, but anyways, I don't know, I don't want to talk about anybody specific, but, some of these guys just look like doofuses, they just fucking wear their polo shirt and their normie haircut and fucking boring ass shit, right? And I hate it. It's misanthropic to say that, and like elitist, and to talk about that. And I will compartmentalize that and say it's terrible, but they're people, it's not a big deal. Who cares? Calm down. At the same time, I mean, making humor about it is cool, right? Making it funny, but they're people. I'll talk to them. I'll be with, around these people, They're not out to get, see that, I think that's part of it too, is like this social anxiety, like they're out to get me, they're all conspiring to get me, you know? And I think a lot of these types of people that I talk about, these misanthropes, have that kind of shit too, you know? So just calm the fuck down. You know, people need to calm the fuck down. I do too in a lot of ways. So that's really the message of this video. That's about all.